Alright, so this is the other part of Bees Fork. Water's moving a little faster here. So right over there is the entrance to the trail. So it's blocked by some of the blowdown right there. But you won't see it because the crossing. Oh, look. Oh, there's a sign right there. I'll put it in an assurance marker. That's the fancy term for a trail blaze. So they got to come right up through there and down through there. So I'm going to clean this area up, and then I think I'm going to head back, because it'll probably put me back about, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock at least. You know, just cleaning up this area. So, oh well, you know, I'm going to clean what I can. Ooh, check that rock out. So I was just trying to scout out the best route. So there's this little pond here. So this whole area, the first time I ever did Karkaghne was with Rick and Brad, and none of this growth was here. It was probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So none of this was here though. There was a few, I think a couple of these larger trees right here, but then this whole area over here, there wasn't any of this prairie stuff. So it was just all sand. So it's kind of crazy. Looks like something has been through here. Probably deer for sure. Let's hope not any bear. But oh, there's some jewelweed back in there, so I must have gotten into the poison ivy, I suspect. This is really kind of a mess here because there's a lot of this flood debris. So the trail is going to come through here. You've got all this chunks of flood debris though, and I'm guessing you're going to go through there. I think what I'll do is I'll try to clear out all this and then clear out all these sycamores and at least try to get it clear through there. So if you were standing here, you should be able to see an assurance marker on the other bank. So let's get to it. Alright, so here's the finished product. You can see the trail blaze on the other side. You can, if you come down here, you'll see that trail blaze, bleh, that assurance marker right there with an arrow. Hopefully that will alleviate any further confusion and people going down the creek there. You will come walking through here. This is the only thing that kind of sucks is this little, you know, what do you call it? Debris pile. But I'm not going to be able to get that one big giant tree out. So you just keep following the path, which I'm sure will be overgrown in a month. But you'll come down this direction, right through here, framed on both sides. And then there's your assurance marker on the other side. So if you're coming from this direction now, you come down onto that point, you'll be able to turn and see that assurance marker right there, and you'll follow it through. So hopefully this will be a good route for the bikers. They can get through here, and there won't be any confusion or people getting lost. Because if I remember correct, I thought it was like right straight across. But now that I remember it, the last time I came through here, we crossed over there and then we went out into the middle of it. And then that bank where that tree is right there, that used to be the old connection point. And so Rick and Brad adopted this section and they rerouted it down to the point here, so you'd have a less steep of an incline trying to get across, and people wouldn't erode the bank as much. So it is it's probably about 1:30, so I'm going to do the other water crossing and head back to Sutton Bluff. It's getting windy. I do believe that is a pawpaw. Another one right there. I was looking, but I don't see a pawpaw tree. This big one's a maple. I don't know. I have yet to find them out in the wild, you know, like on a tree, and grab one to eat. I've had them before. I did a wild edible class at the Missouri Botanical Gardens, and it was out at Shaw Nature Reserve, and they had a pawpaw tree, and the guy gave us one. They're pretty tasty. They got some big seeds. I suspect those big ones though would be pretty good. But they have a nice persimmons tree at the Sutton Bluff, but they're not ready yet. This is that big one that fell that I didn't get. I moved that chunk, but you can see, I mean, it left a dent. You definitely don't want that falling on you. So we're just heading out. I don't know, maybe we'll find something exciting on the way. It's like a turkey or a hawk or something up in the tree. My heart was pounding earlier. I think I heard a bear. I heard just walking, I heard a, you know, so I started clanging my trekking poles together, screaming, "Hey bear, rabbit, squirrel, boar, whatever you are, go away." But now I'm thoroughly freaked, especially after watching the first episode of Alone, season 2. That guy, I think his name was Desmond, comes in, sees all the bear poop all over, freaks out, went home first day, which I can understand. Bears are freaky, and so are these damn spiders everywhere. Alright, so there's the split. One goes to Sutton Bluff, one goes to the trail, and one comes to the trailhead. I saved this guy for last because I figured since I was this close to the trailhead, I didn't want to have to cut it right away. There's a vehicle here, so somebody's out and about. Alright, it's a little windy, so hopefully it's not too bad, but we made it back to Sutton Bluff, and I decided to have dinner because I'm hungry. So while I was cooking dinner, I laid out my tent, which was pretty wet. The fly was really wet, and the regular tent was a little wet on the outside and on the bottom, mainly due to the fact that it was in the same bag as the fly. So, and the fly had a little bit of condensation on the inside and rain on the outside, so it was really wet. But it seems it's only been out there for like 5 minutes, and it seems to have dried out pretty well. So I can hear one of the ATV guys up at the top there. So anyway, I figure this is a really nice place to have dinner. And for dinner, since I got it out, I was planning on eating this tonight anyway. This is that sweet potato and lentil dal that I made. I got a video on that. Since I took it out of the freezer, I got to eat it. So it's either, you know, eat it now or eat it when I get home. And well, it's like 4:30, so I'm hungry now. So I just put in about 10 ounces of water. It says I wrote down 1.5 cups, but I'd rather start off with a little bit less, so like 1.25 cups, and see how it rehydrates. This it's gonna look like bear poo, I'm gonna be honest with you, but that's most Indian food. And the bonus is that people will not try to eat your food, so that's a bonus. So I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll heat it up a little bit with my my ghetto windscreen here, and I dug a hole to try to get it a little bit lower than the wind. For some reason I left my windscreen, so that wasn't too smart, was it? But my goodness, it's a beautiful day. Very, very nice day. Very hard. I'm definitely out of shape as far as the hiking goes, and you get better at it. One of the other things I'm going to have here is some beef jerky. This is the hot and spicy beef jerky. I finished off a pack that I brought of the cracked pepper. I really like the tubes better than the slabs. I think that they a little bit easier to eat. But this is pretty good. The hot and spicy is pretty spicy. Alright, so we're starting to cook. I dug my pit a little bit lower. That way the sand acts as a wind block. You know, improvise. So this dehydrated for about, or dehydrated, this is rehydrated for about 20 minutes. I think a cup and a half is way too much. I would drop it down to maybe a cup and go from there. But you can see that's kind of what it looks like. So if it wasn't so soupy, it'd be a little bit more. You can see big chunks of sweet potatoes. The lentils, I tried one nice and soft. Big yellow pieces of ginger. And it tastes really good. So I'm just stirring it to make sure that it doesn't burn on the bottom. As you may notice, it's in a pot. I don't normally do that. I normally cook via, you know, freezer bag. So we're trying something new with this, and somebody wanted to know how it rehydrated, so I brought it with, and we're going to eat it once it heats up a little bit. But definitely, I think, less water. Alright guys, so the sweet potato dal was pretty good. I think the flavor was great. It didn't really taste like a dehydrated meal. I think next time I will do a cup of water, and I will heat the water first and then let it kind of rehydrate with warm water like you do with a mountain house. There was a few bits in there that were a little crunchy, and I think if you let it sit in warm water for about 20 minutes, you know, to rehydrate really good, and then you can always stick it back on the heat for a little while if you needed to you know, warm it up just a little bit more. But I think if you had a pot cozy like I do for that Snow Peak 900, that it should work well. So definitely the belly is happy. The legs are hurting, the knees hate me, but I think we got a lot of work done today. Definitely a good hike. I think it was about 8 miles or so. I will do a follow-up video regarding what the Garmin says versus the Backcountry Navigator. I'm kind of curious to see. At one point I did lose battery power on the GPS, but I know it wasn't for very long. So both you know, both tracks should be fairly similar. So anyway, we'll see how that looks. I want to encourage you guys to go out and find a trail of your own, or even this one. The Karkaghne is an excellent trail. It's an excellent section of the Ozark Trail. It's a little tough, but if you're looking for a challenge, it's definitely a good one to take. I want to encourage you also, if you go on the Ozark Trail, to submit trip reports. It really helps us find out where the areas are that we need to go and clean up, you know, blow down and that sort of thing. I think I took out 3 or 4 different blowdowns today and a bunch of trees. I am hurting, but hopefully that'll help the bikers and help the sawyers who have to get out with somebody else. They have to have somebody to swamp with them. There's a lot that kind of goes into getting them out there, and logistically they don't want to hike 8 miles with a saw. They want to hike in maybe a mile at the most. They want to find a road. So if we know in the trip reports where the stuff is, we can hit it a lot quicker and make it easier. I'm rambling on. I'm just gonna be quiet and let you look at this, and I want you to go out and find your own adventure, because that's what life's all about. Is this fantastic.